Hey guys, so Lord here, back again with another review, and today we'll be taking a look at the Mattel Masterverse Masters of the Universe Revelation Classic Teela. And before we get into it here, let us first take a look-see at both the front and the back of the packaging. So without further ado, let's get into it. Now before we get into the meat and taters of this review, Teela does come with a plethora of accessories. First up, Teela does come with 4 interchangeable hands, the first of which is this pair of Kung Fu grip hands. The second of which is the singular right fist hand and left open/relaxed hand, or as I like to call it, the turn your head and cough hand. Oh yeah! If I'm being completely honest here, it would have been nice if we got 2 of each of these instead of just the one, but it is what it is, I suppose. Next up, Teela comes with 2 interchangeable head sculpts, the first of which is this more traditional looking head sculpt, complete with her trademark tiara, and I just like to say, what a gorgeous looking head sculpt. Second of which is this more pissed off looking head sculpt, complete with long flowing ginger locks. If I'm being quite honest, I think this one is even more gorgeous than this one. And don't get it twisted, I still like this one quite a bit, but in all honesty, I might throw it on my Origins figure if it fits. And last but certainly not least, Teela does come with her trademark sword and shield, but if I'm being quite honest, she doesn't hold these that well, but if you are patient with it, you can get them to stay in. So with that being said, let's now move on and take a closer look at the aesthetic and articulation. Taking a closer look at good old Teela here, and as I said before, when we were talking about the head sculpts of this figure, what a gorgeous looking figure, man. This is, if you missed out on the MOTU Classics figure, and I know I say this in almost every Masterverse review with the exception of some of the more out there redesigns for some of the characters, this is a definite must-have for you. This thing looks gorgeous. This is probably one of the best female figures of the year so far. Albeit with a bit of a loose knee here. Oh, that kind of sucks. Didn't notice that before, but it is what it is. But that said, look at that. It's a classic head sculpt again. Really well done. Really love how that came out. That's just, I have it sitting here. If I can find it quick. Here's the long hair one again. I really can't choose, man. I like them both. I'm half tempted to use this on my Origins, though. So, you know, take that for what it's worth. I know, blasphemy! Oh, but it looks gorgeous, dude. Can't help it. She's got this little skirt here, which I think adds a bit of a feminine touch to the character design. I know she's usually depicted with furry underoos like the dudes in MOTU, but I kind of like the skirt a little better. It's not too much, I don't think. I think it's enough. It's different enough to where it looks more unique to her and not too far to where it looks too girly. You know what I'm saying? I mean, she is the girl, so, you know, take that for what it's worth, I guess. She's got the collar there, but her little bicep bracelets, her little white fur tufts on her boots, and her bracers. Really awesome figure. I think the only thing this thing was missing is a staff, like the snake staff, but I don't think she used it in the show, so no real reason for her to come with it, right? As far as articulation goes, head will rotate, look up and down. It does pop off pretty easy. There you go. And I haven't actually showed this on cam before. The heads are really easy to swap out on this figure, so thanks, Mattel. You made that a little bit less of a pain in the neck. I don't need my heat duct to fry these heads to get them to move, but just look at that. Oh my god. I normally don't do this during a review, like the hands-on part of the review, but what a gorgeous looking head sculpt. That said, it is pretty hindered because of all that hair, so I'll take that off for now. Just go with the classic one. That's probably the one a lot of you guys probably prefer anyways. I like the ladies with their hair down, both in figure form and in real life, so, you know, take that for what it's worth. Shoulders go out to the side pretty far. She does not have, at least I didn't think, it seemed like she had the same shoulders as the mercenary Teela. That one felt a little bit more jacked. We'll do a comparison to that in a minute, but we do also rotate, bicep swivel, double joint at the elbow, works good. Wrist swivel and hinge, and appropriate hinges on those hands, but luckily the 40th He-Man will have the up and down hinge as opposed to the in and out one, which I wish all these guys had, but beggars can't be choosers, I guess. He's got a diaphragm joint, not a lot of range out of that. It does tilt back a little bit though. It does tilt down, it tilts side to side, it's kind of wobbly. Don't really care for the torso joints on these. Hers seems to want to rotate a little bit more than some of the other ones, without screwing up the joint there, but yeah, it could be a little tighter. Does have a waist joint. T-jointed hips that kick out to the side pretty far, considering. You can do splitsies. Kick forward, kick back, thigh cut, double joint at the knee. Which works pretty good. He has boot rotation. Single hinge in the foot with a rocker. And peg holes at the bottom of the feet for the McFarlane stands, which do work really well with these figures. So that's Teela in a nutshell, man. Really awesome figure. You want the classic look for Teela, then this is the one to get because it doesn't cost, what, $200? It's like a going rate for a MOTU Classics character that's worth the shit. Like, we're talking A-listers, not like, oh, this character who's in one Filmation episode. Yeah, that one's going to be $20 because who the hell cares? But I know some people care. I'm just saying, like, compared to Teela, I don't think as many people care about Shapoopy or whatever as they do Teela. But I could be wrong. I like Shakoti. Shapoopy. Whatever. Show was not in this show. A little bit bummed out about that. I wish there were a couple more the cooler Filmation types in Revelation, but it is what it is. I still like the show, and I like this figure. So with that being said, let's now move on and take a look at some size comparisons. First up, here's our new-ish classic-inspired Masterverse Teela next to her Origins counterpart and her first Masterverse release with the more mercenary-inspired look. Next up, here she is alongside a couple other Masterverse figures, her old man, Man-at-Arms, and her main squeeze, He-Man. Up next, here she is with a couple of evil warriors, Evelyn and Skeletor. And can we please get a classic-inspired Evelyn from this series already? That said, we do still need a show-accurate head for that Skeletor while you're at it. And last, but certainly not least, we have our two regulars, the Mythic Legion's Brother Mandibulus, Living Spawn, who as usual, towers over everyone. So with that being said, time to wrap things up. Some final thoughts. Overall, and as I tend to say in most of my Masterverse figure reviews, if you missed out on the MOTU Classics release of good old Teela here, or if you didn't care for her more mercenary-esque look in the Masterverse line, which I'd be lying if I said I cared for the half-shaved head look myself, then look no further. And yes, while I do understand that this is no Four Horsemen sculpt or anything like that, this is still a really solid addition to the Masterverse line. It's worthy of filling any hole you may have in your Masters of the Universe collection. It's a really awesome figure, guys. One of my personal favorite female figures of the year so far. Favorite figures in general? Maybe not if I'm being 110% honest, but as far as female figures go, this is by far one of my favorites that I've picked up thus far. I love both head sculpts, both the classic and the long hair, because chicka bow wow. I love her sword. I love her shield. Nice homage to her classic design. I even don't mind the skirt. Yeah, I'm used to her running around in furry underoos like her male cohorts like anybody, but I think the skirt adds a bit of a feminine touch to what is already a solid female character design. So for those reasons, and those reasons alone, I would highly suggest you pick this figure up sooner rather than later. I could see this figure being pretty sought after on the secondary market after a while, so better get her while you can. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. If you are so inclined, please don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you know whenever I upload more reviews like this one. If you haven't already, please hit me up on Instagram at Overlord Productions. But as always, keep the comments civil. This world sucks enough as it is, especially when your friends have been lying to you your whole life. I mean, that just sucks, dude. I'd overreact a bit, but I get it, you know. And until next time, I'll catch you guys later.